Hi there, YouTubers. I thought I'd do a vid before I go into work here. Actually, it's a very strange morning. It doesn't actually matter what time I go in. It's right now about 7:30, and I'll head in 45 minutes to an hour. I might even stop and get something to eat. I don't know. This is very unusual for me in terms of work. For years and years and years and years, it just boom boom every morning be there. But in my mind, I I'm sorry I'm white, but if my starting time is 8 o'clock, if I'm not there by 7:45, I'm late. That's the way I treat myself. And to be honest with you, I expect it of others, but very few actually do. There's a few guys who'll show up consistently 5 or 4 minutes early, and I've dealt with guys for years that, I mean, if they show up on time, it's an amazing deal. It's almost guaranteed they're going to be 5 to 12 minutes late almost every day. Um, I don't go for that. It's just like that's not how things are done. And so anyway, just wanted to think about something last night. Sometimes when you're tossing and turning and turning and tossing, I had one of those nights last night, and it had a lot on my mind. But it's funny because I couldn't put it down. I couldn't let go of it. Neither could I really understand why I kept going over and over the same idea. And if you can think of something moving fast, how fast is it moving? Are you asking me what is its current velocity? By golly, that guy's noisy out there. I'm guessing you could hear that too. This guy's got some kind of tank out here. I don't know, he's warming up. Maybe not a tank. Oh, now that sounds better. Anyway, I just was thinking about, in terms of all this, with the way that things are working faster and faster, or do we mean that they're coming soon? In other words, sometimes it bothers people, I think, who are not from around here. How far away is Albuquerque? Oh, it's at least 3 hours, and that's just sticking with it. How far? And you gave me a time. It's soon. And so, in other words, our words of fast and soon, velocity and proximity, we I kind of interchange them, and it gets confusing, and I had some mangled stuff in my head. So I got to thinking about it, that maybe one of the ways that we could boil this down and shrink it into, people say about me, about Mike Labor, hey, why say in one sentence what could be said in 4 ill-described paragraphs? A man of many words, apparently. Well, I just talk too much. But anyway, the point is, when we think about our days, and I've heard Bible teaching about how the days of shortly before the coming of the Son will be like the days of Noah. And we think, well, what are the days of Noah like? How would we know? That was a long time ago. We do know what the days of Noah are. If you just look around and observe and pay attention, you got a lot of occultic stuff. You got a revival, an actual revival of hardcore paganism, like involving the ancient gods that we're not even supposed to say their names. But it starts with an M and ends with an H, and there's a lot of dead babies in that wrecked up old mortuary of a worship temple, bloodlust. And so there's bloodlust all. I mean, and you look at some of these things, you know that those in power, the great ones among us, were well aware, going in to this 2020 thing, this business, and the results coming out now, especially through embalmers. Go look it up, embalmers. VEJON, health. The man's solid. He's a Britisher, I think. But the point is, one of them foreigners. Actually, I think we Americans may have made a terrible mistake when we threw off the king there. I mean, it was an experiment to see whether humans can govern themselves, and I think the results are in. No. At least not very well. Anyway, the word in our terms nowadays, righteousness, is frankly alien. No one uses it unless you mean to mock someone, and you call them self-righteous, right? I mean, it's become weaponized like everything else in word land. But I think the way we'd say it, we'd say something like this: "Damn it, do it the right way." You got some knucklehead trying to build something, or oh my gosh, trying to tear it down, which is even worse because the thing's going to fall on his head and he doesn't even know it. Do it the right way. You can't do things just any old way you want. And worse yet, don't you go around making phony baloney promises that you have no intention of keeping. Do it right. So in other words, that would be a little bit of the tone, I think, of what right wayness might be. Uh, and it's still valid. It doesn't matter how bad and crazy and, frankly, just vile the great ones among us display themselves to be, because they're in linkages with powers of darkness, powers of the air, ancient enemies. These things are going to the flames, to the blazes, along with hell itself, along with death itself, along with Satan. You don't want to be on that bus. Come off. Jesus is robbing him blind right now. He's taking hostages around the world through his word by the power of the Spirit. And guess what? He's winning. And so the thing is that do it the right way. Do it the right way, man. Do it the right way. Well, right wayness is typified by law, which is to say any violation of law is unright, aka sin. And we don't want to hear about sin. We don't want to hear about that narrow-minded stuff. But it's like, sure you do. You just don't know it yet, because it's the right way is to love what's right. I mean, this sounds kind of circular, don't it? In other words, it's sort of like King David says somewhere in the Psalms, I love your law. It is my meditation night and day. And, I know that phrase. I mean, I know that David did, in fact, say that, and even wrote it down. But that's not exactly my personal experience. I mean, I can't say, yeah, me too, or something like that. But that's what he's doing, is he's building us up to say, yeah, me too. But we've become such strangers to righteousness that we can't honestly say it without being just some phony baloney two-bit hack like, the great ones, and just lie. No, that's not how this thing goes. And so I was just thinking, if we can kind of have a topic for the day, that, oh, by the way, real late intro. This is like those movies where you're in the movie for 12 minutes and suddenly here comes the title thing and all the printing stuff. Oh, what happened? Short talk of the trailer with an old guy. Friday morning for work. I forgot to do the header at the beginning. Well, we'll just invert it. Just put it back. Oh. Didn't do that the right way, now did we? But anyway, the thing I'm thinking about is the standard of law is Decalogos, the 10 words, 10 commandments. And we might call them the law way, the right way, that even the Bible admires and admonishes and preaches and teaches around the world as infallible. But even we who are darkened in our sin and insanity, we recognize that there is some validity actually to having laws which say thou shalt not steal, as an example. But what happens in Jesus is that a lady told me one, that was a beautiful story. The guy had done time in prison, and he'd become a Christian in there. And so he always heard the commandment, thou shalt not steal, as a prohibition, a negative thing. But what he did is turned it into an affirmation. And that's kind of what I'm saying, is that someone, if you really love something, you'll affirm. So in this case, the brother would say things like, I was I was down here at the store. It would have been so easy. I knew I could get away with it. Cameras aren't on me. I know where they're at. And, but by the power of the Spirit, in Jesus' name, I hereby swear I shall not steal, even though I have opportunity. In fact, I'll bless this attendant here, this working person, and I'll let him know, hey, your security has a blind spot. In other words, love the right way. And so, you have the 10 words, and we can, I don't want to flip. I'm not trying to invert the meaning of the Bible, all right? Please don't do that. No, what I'm trying to say is, what would it sound like in my ear when I hear a fellow human being agree with David? I do love the right way. I do love your law. And so, take a law. I am the God, the Almighty, who pulled you, you're sorry, but out of Egypt. He didn't say that part. I rescued you out of Egypt. You shall have none but me as a God. Well, so we want to flip that from a prohibition, thou shalt not have other gods, but we want to make it into a positive assertion in our lives in these times. We want to love the right way. So we want to say, well, of course, let's see, the I am who is. That'd be the guy who generated, sponsors, created, and currently coheres what we call is, the cosmos, reality, my body, everything you've ever sampled or known as extant in the universe. This guy built that stuff from scratch by speaking it into power. And then he reached into history in ancient Egypt and extracted the people out through a great process. It's in the book. Go read it. But in other words, he was meddling in human history. Why? To set these people apart and to bring them out of slavery so that he may reveal himself to them. They were the children of Abraham. He's fulfilling his promise. That's the right thing to do. And wouldn't it be the right thing for me to appreciate how far he's gone out of his way? I mean, he didn't have to get involved with us. He could have just said, you guys, wrong, see ya. Just like he did in Noah's day, with exceptions. Noah, his sons, daughters, and of course Noah's wife. But the point is do the right thing, love the right way. And so in terms of C1, I'm going to call that the first commandment. In terms of C1, I would affirm something like this: with us in prayer, we seek thee in prayer, O great God, Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has revealed himself even in Moses' day. You are the great one, the deliverer king. And we are in desperate situations down here. Our world, our health, our communities, our institutions, everything's falling apart. Even the constructs of what we mean by true and false, those categories are collapsing. We do need and we want you to, because we've realized we need your sanity. You're the only one with your feet standing on reality. All of us are, shall we say, delusional. And so at any rate, I thought we can take the words, and that's, I think, what the apostles is doing. He says, you can have a command called thou shalt not steal, like we talked a little bit about. But the way that Paul interprets that and positively applies it is he didn't just keep saying the words over and over again, don't steal, don't steal, don't steal. He says, now, you should work. And if you're not working, you don't eat. But you should work, and not only supplying your own needs, as you've seen that I've done. Paul carried on a tremendous ministry, and he never asked for a plug nickel from anybody. He worked with his hands. He, I think he was a tent maker. He supplied not only himself, but his friends, and was able even to give gifts away. That's the model. Do it the right way. In other words, be responsible. Do the job you said you do, and do it right. And be diligent. In other words, I love that stuff, man. If you've ever been around an employee like that, they're the best. I mean, they're motivated, they're happy, they're efficient, and nothing gets them down. Do it the right way, see? And in other words, it's wholesome. It's life-giving. It's sanity-inducing. It's sanity-inducing. We could use some of that. But the law is beautiful if we will take away our rebel traits. And, I don't know about you. I was at the eye doctor the other day. They got a sign posted on the wall: no food, no drinks in the waiting room. Do not move the chairs. Thought, wow. So like if I move the chair a quarter inch, hey, wait, I'm on CCTV. We could start a criminal conspiracy of scooching the chairs around in the doctor's office. But in other words, as soon as someone says, don't do that, stay off the grass, of course I want to jump right in the middle of it, As soon as they said, don't bring food and drink in here, I'm ready to see if I can call in a delivery from Dion's or something like that. And, hey, bring me a large pizza. Do you guys serve beer? bring it into the doctor's office, turn on a huge, boom box, and But in other words, we're so contrary. There's a great character in an old movie. I think Little Big Man. I really liked it. I haven't seen it in years. Maybe I should look it up and watch it again. It's just such a great film in so many ways. But there's one of my favorite characters in there. I've only got a few favorite characters in movies, but this one of them, it is this poor Indian dude, and he's, oh my gosh, I've already forgotten what he's called. Oh, that's so sad. But he's a reverse. He does everything backwards. Um, I think his girlfriend or something who was going to marry him ran off with somebody. Or I can't recall. Broke his heart. Kind of essentially broke his mind too. Kind of off the edge. Anyway, so he rode his horse backwards. He talked backwards, like he would wash with dirt and dry off with water. And so he was trying to do everything backwards. Well, he was essentially kind of punishing himself. Well, we kind of punish ourselves too, and we realize we're not right. We know we're not doing this well enough. And by the way, everyone can see my flaws. And it's like, boy, are they apparent? But he works in us, with us. He's come to meddle in your life. He's come to stick his finger into your heart. And he turns us. He turns our loyalty. And so, I'm not the same man I was, but I do remember the first day he reached in there, and boy, I thought I was losing my mind. But he's so good, and he's actually speaking with us back in prayer. And I don't mean hearing, some new revelation from on high, thus saith the Lord, from the old, white guy, some new weird cult thing. No, what I'm saying is that he understands. I was troubled last night. I kept tossing and turning. Why can't I get this figured out? And it turns out that it has to do with the sense in my mind. Now, this is a long story, so I'm making it real short. It has to do with a sense of hope. In other words, what's constantly under assault in our world is hope. I mean, legitimate hope. And they're chopping at the trees down as they go. They're burning the forests. They're reducing your little hopes, which you could have had down here. Gee, I hope I can get an ice cream cone soon. It's kind of hot. Not maybe that small. But in other words, the hope that we have for a meaningful life, the hope that we have, well, I'd like to make a contribution that matters. I don't want to just be known as the guy who was here clocking in and collecting my dollars. Well, that ain't me. So in other words, he meddles in our lives, but he encourages us along the way. And he does it when you're not talking, Mike. In other words, go ahead, bellyache to him. Tell him your sad story. Tell him about your screw-ups, too. Don't forget that part. At least the ones you're aware of, because there's things that I do wrong every day that I don't even know what was wrong about it. But in fact, nobody will ever even tell me. They haven't got the courage to face me. And it's like, well, I don't do that all the time either. If some guy's just weird or some woman's flipping, and you just let him go. I mean, you don't have to correct everybody. And, yeah, thanks for that little license there, that we don't need to go around correcting everybody. I've got a license to not correct you. Even if I could make you a Christian somehow by getting into your head and messing with your mind, I wouldn't do it. What would the point of that be? You got to want it, baby. And what I mean, it's like waking up and thinking to yourself, it's 3 a.m, man. I'm hungry. Wait a minute. I've got a couple of pieces of Tiffany's pizza in there. Oh, you got to try Tiffany's sometimes if you ever get down here. Greek restaurant. Makes the best pizza in town, bar none. I always get the one called Tiffany's, and it's just a kind of a compound pizza, a lot of stuff in there. Really good. Excellent pizza. But never mind that. In other words, that's what we jump up and we want. We want something that's wholesome and hearty and serves to make you stronger. It's so that now I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to do stuff. See what I mean? So I'm going to head down to work today and monkey around a little bit. We're going to work on Sunday this week. The Chick-fil-A around the corner here, shoot, it's almost BB gun distance from here. Well, if I had, the pump kind, maybe, I don't know. Okay, maybe at 22. Anyway, it's tops 3/8 of a mile from here. And how do you like those 8s, huh? Uh, and so we're going to work Sunday. They got a new gas main going in for some kind of weird canopy heater. And I just don't get the idea here at all. Ugh. If you can imagine driving up to in your air conditioned or heated vehicle, depending upon the season, you roll your window down when you get to the talkity talk window and you say, yeah, give me 2 of these, 3 of those, and 4 of them, and don't forget the black pepper. Then you roll the window up. You go around the corner, wait. Finally, you talk to the young person at the counter. Okay, yeah, here's my card, or here's some cash, boom, boom. Yeah, can I get a package of ketchup? See it, roll the window up. So you were exposed to the atmosphere, the horrible weather out there, for 14 seconds in the last 9 minutes. So what they're doing is they're building these canopies. Why? So that they can heat them. Heat the canopies of the drive-through line. Think of it as a tax write-off. But anyway, we're getting involved with that, and I hope this doesn't get me in trouble with the company for saying this. I have been known to venture one too many opinion, as it were, sometimes around customers. And anyway, it just seems insane to me. It'd be like building a heater in overhead at an automatic car wash. Why? I don't know. So at any rate, we're going to do that. So we want to love the right way, and so we want to love what's right. And Noah was that sort of guy too, big time. I mean, he was a champ. But the thing is, we can walk in that same pattern. I'm not going to be as great as Noah was, but so what? Join the club. And instead, we hear the word today. Listen to 2 Peter again, and gosh, I love that book. Everything's right about it. Just click, 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 right down the kind of the mic line. And the short version is this: look, you're none of us are ever going to be good enough or right enough or lawful enough to merit anything from him other than fury. However, he has seen to it that there's a new way, a new and living way in the hearts and minds of his children that he introduces personally, supernaturally. And there's nothing the world can do about it. There's nothing the devil can do about it. And in fact, we are beginning to learn to stand up and speak as believing brothers and sisters, and to care for each other and to pray for each other. And so really what the love of the law is about is, think of it as a guide for prayer. You want to pray to your Father? Well, then call upon him. And when you run out of your, lame excuses and, shall we say, complaints about nothing, nobody, and usually the same junk over and over again, use the law as a guide to help you understand. So last night I was laying there, and finally I thought about it, and I thought, I think it's something like this: authority. I think that's what's bothering me. Fast means velocity. Yes, it's increasing its speed as it arcs along, but fast also means soon. In other words, it's only 3 hours away. So I was pinging and ponging, and as that applies to authority, then what we have is, you should, in this respect, it had to do with parents, yes, of course, and the name of the Lord. In fact, all of them have to do with authority. But in specific, the command about honor your father and your mother. Well, that means all lawful authority then. There's really only 3 lawful realms of authority, as far as I believe as a Christian. And I think we can back this up with the Bible. There's the family. There's the nation state, whether it's a kingdom or not, or a regime or an empire, whatever they call their thing. There's the church, the ecclesia, the gathered out ones. All other authorities on earth are basically franchised out and voluntary. You got some guy who wants to become the owner of a golf course. Okay, he bought the golf course. He makes the rules. He's the authority. Do I have to keep his rules? Well, if I want to play on his course, and I think I should. And in other words, this is a privilege being here on this huge green spot. But golf course owners are not in the same category as mayors or fathers. And the thing is that when we say we want to do right, that means, Yes, you really should obey. You should be law abiding. Yeah, the speed limit does say 35. Why am I doing 43? This kind of thing. Yes, we really should abide by law. We should abide by family tradition in so far as it coheres with good taste, life, wholesomeness, something. But you flip it. You be the authority. You be the light. You be the one who says this is going to be done right. And when I sign off on this bad boy, I'll tell you, I can guarantee it. It's going to be good. And so that's the way he is. So we should be more like that. Learn to keep my word. So I think it kind of boiled out for me. But that's how we pray, erratically, but a lot of it. But anyway, I hope you guys do have a good day out there. I'm hoping to round up some hours here and there. This crazy retirement gig, I'm kind of quasi unretiring and trying to aim at 32 hours with the boss, something like that. And I just blew the lid off the Social Security thing. Just forget those guys. And we'll see how it goes. I would like one day off a week. I'm getting old, but I'm not that old. I can still swing a shovel if I need to. We'll see about that. I'm not even sure what's going to happen on Sunday or how many hours I need to be out there. It's just kind of harem scarum. So I'm going to go in today. We're going to make sure we got all the shovels, tarps, picks, And then there's a bunch of, this is a commercial property with a lot of foot traffic. So we're going to have to for sure, rope it off or, not fence it off, but caution it off with that gaudy yellow tape that the wind always eats and blows all over the neighborhood. I try to tie it off so it don't go away, but we always make a mess with that stuff. So we're going to do some digging, and Sunday morning, I guess I won't be to church. I don't know, maybe I'll look around, see if there's a Messianic group that meets on Saturday. I think there used to be one here in town. They were okay. I haven't visited them in probably 20 years, so they may have gone on. But at any rate, you guys have a great day, and remember that it's what you love that matters. And so when, say a little girl or a little boy, say mom or dad serving in the military and hadn't seen the person in maybe even a year. That was just like an eternity for a little kid. And here they come through the door. You watch that kid's face. Are they bored? Are they distracted? Are they, oh, it's you? Nah, little kids are just blowing up. Yeah, it's Dad. And so, in other words, we want to be excited about things, but you can't be excited about being excited. You got to be excited about what's real. Jesus is real. He's at the center of meaning. He's the one who makes things worthwhile. He guarantees it. He says when he gets done, it's going to be right. And I believe you too. When you do, you'll grow.